Copy of the t-shirt.
Ba 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 do 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 do. Ba bum bum ba bum ba da 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 dum bum bum bum. Yep. Okay. Dude, and totally unrelated thing. Do you remember when Russia tried to make its own Avengers movie and the trailer looked amazing? And then the movie itself was like...
It was okay.
It was okay. I mean, neat concept, like none of the machines will ever work again. Like, okay, right. Yeah, that's... I could see how that would... But, like, you promised me a werebear firing a machine gun. I needed more...
A minigun.
Whatever. Okay, the point being...
You promised me a werebear with an M134 knockoff.
I needed more of that. Though the speedy dude with the curved swords was... He was pretty cool.
Yeah.
He delivered.
Well, all the characters conceptually were excellent. Execution left something to be desired.
Yes.
I only watched it once. It was fun, but...
I watched it with you.
Yeah.
It was fun. But I only watched it once.
Well, good morning. It's Firearms Friday. Hey, I see there's a bunch of people watching, but haven't heard anything out of anybody yet. But good morning, y'all. We love you. I hope you're doing good this morning. Let us know in the chat what you're thinking about.
I mean, probably the same thing everybody else is thinking about, that whole Brittany Greiner thing.
Jesus Christ. You know this cat that they traded for Brittany Greiner, right?
I promise I am tracking.
This is literally the guy that the movie Lord of War is about.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I enjoyed that film. But let's be clear, that film is not about the good guy.
Right. Just because it stars Nicolas Cage. So, okay, in all seriousness, I think it is a fundamental violation of human rights to jail somebody for vice. Period. Full stop. You want to destroy yourself. That might be wrong. That might be something that people that care about you attempt to stop you from doing, possibly even by force. But the state incarcerating you for it, yeah, I think that is just civil rights violation. Okay? Also, like 90% of the time, American citizens in foreign prisons, I don't want them there, even if they're guilty.
Right.
Even if they are guilty, I don't want to.
And I agree with that, and I want to see.
Well,
I do want to see our government take care of our people when they're abroad.
Let me finish.
There's another side of that I want to talk about.
Let me finish, okay? However, However, all that being said, legit glad Brittany Greiner got to come home for Christmas.
You just keep talking.
But man, you know, this is like sacrificing a queen to take your opponent's pawn. Right? This is playing an ace of spades to win a hand of clubs. Right? Like everything about this, and I've heard people say things like, "I can't believe you're angry about this," and "Oh, I can't believe all the social media hate on this." Look, there's two pieces to that. Okay, one. Okay, yes, Brittany Greiner is a human and an American and legit. Okay, glad she's not rotting in a Russian gulag. I don't want any Americans to be in a Russian gulag. You know, I don't want that to happen. But the problem, of course, is not that Brittany Griner's black or gay or that the WNBA is retarded. Don't tell me she's a star in the WNBA. That's like saying, well, you're a star in the competitive chess circuit. Yeah.
I think the best commentary I've seen on this so far is a meme where it's just a picture of Brittany Greiner and it says, look, it's the only WNBA trade that anybody ever cared about.
Yes, I've seen that meme. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. No, but the reason why people are frustrated with it is because she dogged out the USA, and then whoops, needed the USA's help real bad, and got it, and legitimately got it. Okay, but she got it after bringing drugs through an international airport, which was dumb. And again, I don't think it should be illegal, but we're talking about somebody who is the definition of entitlement, that plays for a sport that wouldn't exist unless the men did it more gooder. And if that offends you, I'm sorry. The NBA makes billions. The WNBA rides on those coattails. So
and they don't do it very well.
Right. So anyhow, look, glad she's home, but from a geopolitical perspective, this was an utterly embarrassing trade. Like, literally, Chris, I really want that $10 bill over there. I'll make you a deal. I'll give you a $20 bill for your $10 bill. You know that joke? You know that thing what was it when we were kids? Be like, my dad gave me $1, so I traded it to one friend for 2 quarters, and haha, 2 is more than 1.
Right, goblin math. Well, these are shinier. Dave says the YouTube channel is full of comments. Yeah, I just looked at that. I don't know why, but our combined chat stream here wasn't picking up the comments for a little while, and I got it back up. So the first comment that we actually see here is from Pitt Danny. Should have gotten 2 for 1 for the Marines. Should have been included. And I see the rest of your comments, and I'm going to do some hellos in just a minute. I want to say this about the Brittany Greiner thing. I hadn't actually intended on talking about it this morning, but here's the thing. Okay, she went to a foreign country and broke the law. Whether or not the law is just, whether or not the law is right, the fact is she knew when she committed the crime that she was, in fact, breaking a law. She was breaking a law in a foreign country. That's stupid on top of stupid. Now, does she deserve to die for that? Does she deserve to rot in a gulag for that? No. But here's what she is. She is functionally the same, functionally the equivalent of your wealthy adventurers who buy themselves a nice big sailboat, don't get good at sailing, go sailing, find themselves way out in the middle of the ocean with everything broken and messed up, and they need rescue. And we spend millions of dollars on sending the Coast Guard out to save their dumb asses because they took a voluntary risk, which was unnecessary, failed, and then have the clout to push the cost burden of their failure onto people who were not involved in the voluntary choice to make that mistake. Right? If you're going adventure seeking, you want to buy a boat and go sailing, Go for it. Have fun. Do it. Make a plan. Be ready to deal with the consequences. You want to go climb Everest. You want to go hiking in the woods. You want to go, wherever. Going out of contact of civilization and taking a risk. That's your choice. But your voluntary choice, which is your absolute right, should not interfere with my right to make more intelligent, careful choices and not take extraordinary risks. So when you decide to go and take an extraordinary risk at your own peril, you have my full support. Except for the financial. When your stupid risk cost me money, now we have a problem. So I'm all for America taking care of Americans and making sure that Americans are not treated badly overseas. Now, I will do a little bit of walk back on all that and say this about the Greiner situation. Because she is an American, there is an extraordinary additional amount of targeting. But at the same time, that needs to be part of your math, Americans. The world hates you. And they hate you because you're better than they are, and they want to bring you low. That's what communism and socialism is all about. Equity. It's about reducing the value of every human until we all have equal value. And the only way to achieve that equal individual value, that equity that the cult of Die is so dedicated to, is to reduce everyone to the barest possible minimum. So if you want to take stupid risks, you take them yourself. You do not get to leverage my earnings against your entertainment. So,
yeah, Dave Bowen made a fantastic comment back up there. Said that El Chapo's sitting in his cell praying an American screws up in Mexico. Like that's pretty good.
So real quick, before we got the chat fixed over here, it looks like GCM was first in the chat on YouTube this morning. First Blood, Happy Friday, FTP Patriots, hua hua. GCM, I just sent an email to Abaya Israel about hopefully getting, and I'm going to talk to you about it soon. I'd love to do a show with the two of you. Trish is there. Good morning. Happy Firearms Friday. I see Dave Bowen was with us this morning before the chat started. Crack Shot, good morning. Fit Life. So I got both Dannies in here this morning. We have achieved equity. We've achieved gender parity.
That's right. No, there's no equity between Danny and Danny, and I think both Dannys would agree. One of them would be more polite about it, but I think both Dannys would agree.
All right. Well, you want to take this first, DGU?
Why, in fact, I would.
I believe this one came to us from Dave Bowen,
who is just like on fire. He's an artist, a kind of a humorous political commentator, and he's like a super fan of multiple of the local media things.
Yeah. And
he's a Florida man on top of everything else. So it's pretty impressive. So thanks, Dave. Here we go. 3 crooks enter home and one fires at homeowner, but victim is armed too and shoots gunman dead as other 2 suspects flee. Yep.
I accept these terms.
Your terms are acceptable. Like Blaze Dude, no, damn it. 3 individuals entered a southern Louisiana home Tuesday night, and one of the intruders fired a gun at the homeowner. But it turns out the homeowner was armed as well and fatally shot the gunman as 2 other suspects fled the genre residence. I know that's probably not how it's pronounced, but I'm sticking with it.
Generate.
Yeah, and Dave is a published author. Thank you, Daniel. The Iberia Parish sheriffs Wow, say that 5 times fast.
Iberia Parish Sheriff's Office.
Stop. 5 times fast. This said the intruders entered the home on the 9,000 block of Old Jeanneret Road around 10:30 p.m. One of the intruders had a gun and fired it at the homeowner.
Moving on.
But the homeowner returned fire and fatally wounded the intruder, the sheriff's office said.
Hire a copy editor.
The 2 remaining or just read it out loud like I just did. Yeah. The 2 remaining suspects fled the home and were still at large Tuesday night. Deputies responded to a call about the home invasion and found the deceased male inside the sheriff's home, sheriff's office said. So I think that's a official DRT.
Yeah, I think we've got one. Hallelujah.
The deceased male's name was being withheld pending an investigation and notification of the family. Authorities added.
Our folks reacted. Yes!
The commenting on the post about the home invasion and fatal shooting seemed pleased about the outcome.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah, this is how you win.
Sorry the homeowner had to use deadly force, but I am proud he was able to defend his family, himself, and his property against 3 criminals that made a choice to commit a crime. Another commenter said, people have to fight back because criminals have lost fear of reprisals. And yeah, so for the criminal, by the by, death by homeowner is a risk that you chose to assume when you voluntarily engaged in this particular criminal activity.
Yeah, I can't believe you value your possessions more than another human being's life. Well, to be fair, I can't believe that human being also values my possessions more than their life. Because, you know, like, if you never fly, you will never need a parachute. I'm not saying don't fly. I'm just saying Correct. If you never fly, you will never need a parachute.
Now, conversely, if you never fly, it is still possible to die in a plane crash. It's not probable.
Right, but
you could definitely have been in that diner when it came down.
Right.
Sounds bad, but this homeowner just saved some innocent people's lives. Hopefully the other ass-tards learned their lesson that people have had enough and we're ready to fight back, another commenter declared. We are next, another commenter predicted. How many people do not have a gun next to their bed? If not, good luck. Thank God for Louisiana's Stand Your Ground law, another commenter said. Notably to all veterans, if you're a veteran, you can carry concealed. With the gun training and your knowledge of rules of force, you can be that essential person saving lives in situations that warrant it. If we are more veterans, it will be a safer community. Awesome job by the homeowner. That's what should be expected if you break into someone's home planning to do harm. He got what he deserved, in my opinion. Damn, I don't think we've ever had one where we've gone down to the comment section like that. We're gonna have to look out for those. That was
fantastic.
That was fun. Oh, what happened there?
Yeah, and then this one also came from Dave.
Let's see the.
No, I don't think there's...
Not quite the comment section, but we can... Chicago's concealed carry holder saves the day, shoots 3 would-be robbers who attacked him. DC Inquirer. I love this. The note. This article may contain commentary reflecting the author's opinion. A 56-year-old Chicago man shot and wounded 3 would-be robbers who attacked him in his car early Monday morning in the Lawndale area of Chicago. The man was sitting inside his vehicle at approximately 6 a.m. Monday near the 4700 block of West Arthington Avenue when he was approached by another vehicle with 3 teenagers, pulling alongside. According to Fox 3, citing the Chicago Police Department. You know, when you tell me you've got 3 teenagers engaged in the activity, especially in a place like Chicago, I immediately make some assumptions. And the first of those is gang-related activity. This is...
Well, are these 19-year-olds or 14-year-olds as well?
Right, because there's a big damn difference between those two.
I'm not saying that you don't have the right to defend yourself against 14-year-olds, but there's deliberately some...
When the man fired on the 3 teenagers aged 15 to 18, according to the police.
Okay. Keep going, please.
Authorities told WFLD that one of the teenage assailants exited the vehicle and approached the driver, pointing a gun at him and demanding that he hand over his belongings. excuse me. The two struggled until the would-be robbery victim, who was also a FOID and concealed carry license holder, drew his sidearm.
The fuck is a FOID?
I don't know.
Anyhow.
Anyway, and opened fire on his attackers. There was a Chicago shooting early morning after a concealed carry license holder opened fire at would-be robbers. When the man fired on the three teenagers aged 15 to 18, according to police, the driver of the other vehicle attempted to flee and crashed after being shot in the head. Damn, son!
Damn.
A second teenager who was in the backseat of the car suffered a broken leg. Both were transported to an area hospital in critical and fair condition, respectively. The third would-be robber was found several blocks away, suffering from a gunshot wound to the shoulder, and was hospitalized in serious condition. Are you telling me this includes a headshot and no fatality?
I mean, sometimes God... Sometimes God says, not today. You get a second chance. Okay. All right. And turns out a FOID and FOID is dystopian as fuck. In the U.S. state of Illinois, residents must possess an FOID FOID card or a firearm owner's identification card in order to legally purchase or possess firearms or ammunition in the state.
Wow. Okay. So
it's your license to get a license is what it is.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Yeah, your concealed carry permit wasn't enough of an infringement on your rights. Now you have to have a license just to get your concealed carry permit. And look, you know what's really creepy about that is, I mean, you just read what I read. That also means, as I understand it, like not concealed carry. Do you have to have an FOID if you drive through Illinois on your way to Iowa from Kentucky?
That's a good question, and I don't know the answer to that question.
Because you know what I just read?
I'm gonna stay the hell away.
Stay the fuck out of Illinois. Yeah, that's what I read. Woo.
Gee, I wonder why they have super high crime rates.
Well, I mean, we say it over and over and over again. When only criminals, when you criminalize gun ownership, only criminals will have guns, and that doesn't mean bad guys necessarily. It just means people willing to engage in criminal activity. It's sort of like when we were talking about Brittany Greiner. Like marijuana was legal in this country up until the 1900s.
Yep.
And then we made it illegal. And then whoops. And then we even did that whole prohibition thing. Remember that? And suddenly an activity that was just normal became criminal.
Like having a glass of wine.
Right. Right. And then whoops.
Crack shot mentions Cheetle juice.
Yeah, and then Dave says, meanwhile in Florida, you can get your CCP online. Man, that's... The next step is when they say constitutional carry, okay? And I think it's a step in the right direction, but it's actual right. Constitutional carry would be, okay, you can just carry.
Well,
but what about if you're...
Actual constitutional carry would be, no, state government, it is unlawful for you to issue licenses.
Yeah, that was what I said.
You do not have the authority to make a comment on this topic. That's constitutional carry.
Yeah, you can just carry.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing else required. You think we could squeeze in one or two more?
Yeah, we can
let's go for that. Let's go for that.
FedEx driver shot and robbed while delivering package, returns fire and kills robber.
So this FedEx driver's got beach ball sized nuts right there. Yeah, that's...
Big brass ones, Bob.
Yeah.
Police revealed that a FedEx driver involved in the shooting had a legally registered firearm. The incident began when the 32-year-old driver was delivering a package to a home located in the 600 block of Unruh Avenue. An armed robber approached him and then stole his wallet and keys before shooting him. Philadelphia Police Department Captain Jason Smith stated the driver returned fire, striking 27-year-old Javon Lundy severely. Lundy was later found by police on the 1400 block of Creston Street.
Is there any gunshot wound that is not severe? Like if I shoot you in the toe, that's a pretty severe fucking toe injury.
He was declared dead at Einstein Medical Center. DOT. Shortly after his arrival, officers recovered the victim's FedEx ID card from the scene. Wait a minute. Okay, Lundy was later found by the police.
Right.
He was declared dead. Okay, for a second there, whew, my heart skipped a beat. A second man was found with Lundy and the vehicle searched. Police believe the car was used to transport Lundy from the scene of the shooting. The man was taken in for questioning, but it was unclear whether he was facing any charges. He is speaking to us, of course, not portraying that he had any involvement with this robbery. The victim had been able to drive away from the scene and was found slumped over the truck's steering wheel at an Acme parking lot on the 6600 block of Oxford Avenue with a gunshot wound in his stomach. He told officers that he had shot at Lundy, with officers recovering his legally registered 9mm handgun and permit to carry inside the truck. Based on the preliminary story that was relayed, it appears to be self-defense. He was shot first, he fired back. Acting Police Commissioner Christine Coulter said, Maggie Halverson, a resident in the neighborhood where the shooting took place, called the driver a nice guy. He'll ring the doorbell to let you know there's a package there, so I'm praying he's okay, she said. A FedEx spokesperson refused to comment on whether the company had a policy regarding its drivers being armed, saying instead, the safety of our team members and service providers is a top priority, and we are cooperating fully with the investigating authorities at this time. Now, I do not know for sure off the
Yeah, keep going.
I do not know for sure off the top of my head if FedEx has a policy against the drivers being armed, but I will say this. Many companies, especially companies that have drivers like this, Uber and Lyft both have policies against you being armed. I did Uber and Lyft for a while. I was always armed while I was working. And that's just, you'd be stupid not to be, especially if you're working the drunk crowds late at night. But this statement from FedEx, so if it is the case that FedEx has a policy against its drivers being armed, then this statement, the safety of our team members and service providers is a top priority, is a lie. If they have such a policy in place, and I don't know if they do, that might be worth looking at. But I will tell you this, that generally I prefer to use FedEx when I have the option over USPS, because USPS loses my shit.
Yeah, and you know, there's something else in that that's worth mentioning. They tell you that if you are robbed, give them the money, look down at the ground, like just get it over with as quickly as possible. That is the best way to reduce the chance of injury to you and the other people involved in the robbery. And that's probably true. Statistically speaking, if you just give the bad guy whatever the fuck the bad guy wants, they probably won't hurt you too bad. However, that didn't work out for that FedEx driver, did it?
Nope.
And here's the thing, okay? When does the math swing the other direction? When do people realize, you know what, if you just arm the world, everybody has a right to life, okay? Everybody, even dirtbags, have a right to life. You just arm the world. And we might go through a painful transition period, but oh, we care about the safety of our employees so much. We're not going to allow them to carry firearms. Nay, in fact, we care about their safety so much. They're not only not allowed to carry firearms, but they're not allowed to carry pepper spray or tasers. Anything that might give them any type of an advantage in an altercation. Well, they're just not allowed to have it. And yeah, you know, you get the feeling that that wouldn't work. Yeah. Oh, look at that. FedEx's policy prohibits employees from having firearms or weapons on company property, in company vehicles, or in company buildings unless authorized by FedEx security.
Yeah, I suspected that would be the case.
I mean,
it doesn't surprise me at all. And that makes their statement that safety is our top priority. That makes that statement a lie.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they care about the appearance of it. God, I hate all those statistics. Well, if there's a gun in the home, it's more likely to be used in the commission of a murder. Yeah, and if there's knives in the home, it makes it more likely that the knives will be... You're going to use whatever you've got if you're going to commit murder. Yeah,
well, there are ink pens in this home, for example, which dramatically increases the probability that I will murder somebody using an ink pen in this home. That probability is low. But it's never zero.
All right. Let me see. Let me get this one from Warner Robins. All right. Here we go. This is probably going to be our last one.
Yeah.
Because, all right. A person is dead in Houston County after police say they tried to rob a restaurant Monday night.
Yeah, by the way, it's Houston in Georgia. I know it's Houston in Texas, but screw you guys. Your sweet tea is bullshit.
I was literally about to say the exact same thing. I mean, almost verbatim. The Warner Robins Police Department have issued a release stating that the shooting at the American Philly and Wings on Monday night is being investigated as a robbery and a self-defense homicide. Hey, so it can be a homicide but not illegal? That's a thing to note. Killed an armed robbery attempt. Boy, when they can use your mugshot, because this is clearly not the mugshot from the armed robbery.
You can tell by the having a face.
Joshua Tariq Hickey was killed after he allegedly pistol whipped someone during an armed robbery attempt at American Philly and Wings in Warner Robins. So another instance of not giving the bad guy what they wanted.
That almost reads like, after he pistol whips him, that almost reads like they might have just handed him the money and let him go on his way and called the police. But no, son, you had to get violent. And that was, nah.
A man is dead in Houston County after police say they tried to rob a restaurant Monday night. In a media release, the Warner Robins Police Department says officers were called to American Philly and Wings on Watson Boulevard just before 9:45 p.m. Monday. Investigators say the business owner and witnesses told officers a man, later identified as 23-year-old Joshua Hickey of Warner Robins, tried to rob the restaurant. They say Hickey pistol whipped the victim inside. After that, investigators say the victim produced a gun and shots were fired. That's when Hickey left the store and was later found by police in the area on Vernon Drive. Hickey was taken to the hospital with gunshot wounds and later died. The victim of the robbery had minor injuries. The investigation is ongoing. How do you have minor injuries from a pistol whipping? Whenever I see that happen...
Noodle arms?
Whenever I see a pistol whipping in, a TV show, I'm like... Ooh, see, I happen to know for a fact that you're in the hospital getting stitches.
Yeah, the first time I ever saw a pistol whipping represented, you know where it was. It was Goodfellas.
Oh, yeah, the guy's face was a bloody mess. Yeah, that was an accurate pistol whipping.
Yeah, Ray Liotta comes walking up with a 38 special in his hand. He's like, I'm gonna get you. And he just flips it around and just goes to town. And that was, that was before American History X, where we learned about curb stomping. But it was one of those, damn son.
Yeah, you might as well go ahead and shoot me at that point.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah. Hey, speaking of Ray Liotta, dude, he's in Cocaine Bear.
Really?
Yes, apparently that was one of the last things he filmed.
I still haven't watched the trailer for Cocaine Bear.
Seriously, okay? Apparently it was one of the very last things he filmed before he died. And apparently it was yeah, sure, I'll be in a movie called Cocaine Bear.
I would.
And if you haven't, look, guys, oh, man, tangent. Cocaine Bear is... it is exactly what it sounds like. The trailer has a bear doing cocaine by the pound and running down ambulances and ripping doors off their hinges.
Now, do I understand correctly that this is loosely based on a true story? Yeah.
That is correct.
Well, you remember during 2020 when we had the end of the world bingo stuff going on, some of the items on there were things like the cocaine bear and the meth gators. And those were actual things. The meth gators, actually a thing. So I'm looking forward to that film.
Yeah, and it's it's not going to be Shakespeare, but it's the kind of thing where, like,
but if you buy me a coffee and we can get up enough, if y'all buy us enough coffees, we will make Meth Gator.
Oh, that's not what I was going to say. What I was going to say was that Cocaine Bear seems like the kind of movie where, like, me and you and a few of the other boys get together with just the right amount of Maker's Mark. They would take more than that. That was, I mean, if you got us all together.
Oh yeah, we'd have to break. I got a bottle of Good Knob Creek upstairs too. Yep.
Yeah. What was that Steve? What was that stuff Steve had? The Chattanooga.
Oh yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
So,
and then I went to get that bottle of Knob Creek the other night for some old fashions, and I asked the guy, "You know how much the Macallan is?" They don't have it. Nobody. It doesn't exist. But I looked it up online, and it's roughly twice as much as I used to pay for it.
Dave says Whistle Pig Rye Whiskey. Noted.
I'm willing to try it just because Whistle Pig Rye is fun to say.
Yeah, that one gets one just on the points of the name.
All right, so we are going into the weekend. It is the weekend. Today is Friday. I hope you guys have a good time this weekend. Be safe. I haven't looked at the weather, but I think it's supposed to be a little bit dribbly tomorrow. Speaking of dribbly tomorrow, my boy's got his first basketball game in the morning, and I expect that to be a little bit of a disaster because, well...
Dude, have you ever seen little kids play competitive basketball?
No, but I've seen them play basketball.
Okay, when they start playing, I've walked this road.
I'm sure it's gonna be. It's gonna be
fun. It's definitely gonna be fun.
Yep.
There's not gonna be a lot that happens.
Right. I suspect that as much. So, going into the weekend, y'all be safe out there. Don't drive drink, don't fry bacon naked, and watch your lane. Make sure that range goes cold before you go to hang up new paper. We love you, and we'll see you on Monday.